Work session. No? Ms. Janey? You're up. You're up.
We don't want to do any of this when we do the,
Yeah, Terry just walked us
this
through.
is just a work session.
Thank you, he's calling to let me know.
Terry, do you want to walk us through some of the agenda items?
There was a fire in November. It was a total loss. We're going to issue the payments to the owners for the amount stated on here, and that is currently in the fire loss account. So we will issue that check. Everything has been cleared by Kenny and Patsy, and the property, the house was taken down, and everything is up to code of what it should be now. So we just have to issue that payment. Next up, sanitation and code enforcement. Spoke with Donnie the other day. Since we extended the discount period and with everybody's situation financially, we are going to see if everybody's on board with extending the 2020 sanitation face value rate of $250 until August 31st due to the virus.
Does anybody know how many people were left to pay?
I'm still receiving payments in the mail. I received a handful today, and I've gotten a couple, so we'll generate the bills next week.
Okay.
So anything that was post-dated, for the stamped.
No, we gave them a month already.
Right.
I don't see why we have to extend it again.
Well, no, this is extending the next
I
phase.
know, it's extending it at face value for another month. And we've already given them a month with the discounted rate.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Donnie, that's consistent with the county and state's extensions too, though, right?
Yeah.
So Jamie, I think it's just to be
my
consistent because they're,
There's, the way they're talking now, August is when everything's going to hopefully open up, but who knows what's going to happen.
I'm just wondering how many people are left to pay. We're going ahead and extending the face value on it.
Well, that way, by doing it this way, they can pay and maybe get the money in instead of having to go to court to get the
Magistrate,
and
I don't think the magistrate is his office anyway.
June's the rescheduling so far for
Yeah.
June, if
No, but
that
he's saying,
happens.
like, they go on a payment plan, we get the money strung out throughout the year. If they pay the $250, we're still better off. Is that what you're saying?
right.
It's just wasted opinion.
before you would assume you had a comment on the same thing, he's done.
Did we have a lot paid?
Yes.
See, that's what I meant. I knew there was a lot that had already come in with the discount period, giving them a month, and now she's got another handful that have come in now. How many more can be left?
I think it's crazy, the final day, what was it, the 30th or whatever? The people that came to me, because I even called Terry, I said, we've extended this many times. It feels like the same amount of people going, oh, I didn't realize. Like,
Yeah.
Terry says she's collected more now than it's ever been collected.
yeah, I bet.
Under the code enforcement, I do have a comment though. We discussed before about going through the chain of command, and Kenny Jericho is getting phone calls from numerous council people. I think if you need to call about something, I think you should go through Donnie Pavelko and let Donnie Pavelko go to Kenny. It's not right that this guy's being overwhelmed the way he's being overwhelmed. I think it's only right. I mean, if you've got a complaint about the street department, you go through it. If you've got a complaint or you've got somebody, and I know we all get phone calls, and I get phone calls about garbage here and garbage there, but I call Terry. But I think Donnie's the one that you should go for, unless you've got any objections to that.
Oh, no, he's never said anything to me about that. I mean, I've been getting phone calls myself,
I had a
but,
conversation with a week
I
ago.
try to explain to people with the situation the way it is right now, our hands are basically tied.
I agree with all that. I had a conversation with him a week ago about somebody calling him. I said, you talk to Donnie. He says, I talk to Donnie every day, but it's the other ones that keep bothering me, and I can't do everything. And I just think that that's wrong. I think any one of us got a problem with anything that deals with that department should go through you.
I agree.
And
This is, may I make a suggestion? This is the second time we heard this from Kenny. Maybe council should sit down with Kenny and let him name out who it is. I have one occasion with Kenny, and that's the one I asked you. I said, I wanted to talk to Kenny about something. Do you mind if I talk to him? Remember at the last meeting, you said, no, I don't care. That was it. That was, and
I've never called it.
that's the chickens down on, behind,
well,
yeah, it's some, but if Kenny has said this twice now, I believe it's right to have Kenny here and let him
Right.
talk to us,
Right.
because apparently something's up with Kenny.
well, I
That's
only
the
know what I
second
was
time.
told,
Yeah.
and I just don't think it's not right. We can't overwhelm any of them. That's like
Yeah.
going down to the street department or talking about the building or finances. I thought we discussed chain of command, and I just think it should stay that way. And
I agree with you, but I also agree with Jim. If you, you call me and you say, hey, I have no problem with,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, if you talk to him every day, Kenny said, you talk to him a lot,
he never said that to me about it.
and if Kenny is not talking to his contact on council, maybe we should have a talk with Kenny. Because now if Kenny is bringing something up to the president and not his chain of command, maybe we should talk to Kenny.
well, we can do that as well, but I just think everybody should know that if we're gonna have something with Kenny, whether, look at this garbage or go look at this house, should go through him, and then let him come back to, let's say I make the complaint.
Absolutely.
I should go to Donnie, and then Donnie with Kenny, and then let Donnie come back to me with an answer. Or tell Donnie to tell Jericho to call me, but I just don't think that we should be hounding Kenny to do things.
I agree.
All right,
Let Kenny, like the meeting we have with everybody else, still with Kenny.
it's the only comment I had on that.
Due to the governor's recent orders, Mike and Sonny met, and we had plexiglass ordered to install at the administration office counter and as well as at the police station desk. And those quotes are listed here, and we're waiting to hear back. They are on order. We haven't heard when they're going to install them. So those are the two quotes that we received.
I got a comment on that as well, I don't know about anybody else, but upstairs, they're gonna get 3 feet by 12 feet. Down here, I believe we're getting 6 inches or 10 inches? 10 inches?
Yeah,
10 inches by 7 feet, there's only $100 difference. I think that's like kind of high for the difference in the quantity that we're getting.
It might be just the sizes you get and how you cut them, I don't know. If you wanted to question it, we should probably question it with the contractor.
I think it's only gonna be 2 foot high
Upstairs.
downstairs.
Oh, I thought this was 10 inches.
Huh?
I thought downstairs here was 10 inches.
Uh,
Well, then that's probably the right price then. I was told it was 10
No,
inches.
no, not 10 inches. I mean, the desk is high, but it's gonna be
Way up there.
2 feet high.
So in other words, it's going to be 2 feet on top of this?
Yes.
Well, I was told 10 inches.
And then it'll have a slot in it.
And then that price is reasonable.
Terry, do we have any understanding when they may be able to install it?
He said he's waiting. He ordered a bunch, so he's slammed that short right now, so.
Can I voice an opinion?
Sure.
We have an electronic door in the police station that stops people from coming in if they're not wanted in. Why do we need plexiglass down there?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, if I may. It might be what we're going to say. We've already discussed this. Terry and I discussed it today, and I just touched base with the solicitor. Governor's supposed to announce tomorrow, I believe, that we are going to be moving into the yellow, and they're going to try to get this moving quickly into the green at some point in the near future. But when they open to the yellow, your offices can be open as long as you can maintain some sort of sneeze guard, splash guard. Saying that about the police, we will, at that point, we still have to be able to offer the services of our police and protect them. So if someone comes in and wants to talk to Jim about a traffic ticket or whatever it may be, we're going to afford him that protection in the police station, the same as we will upstairs. Did I kind of get that right?
Yeah, my comment, Mayor, would have been very similar to that, is that because of the CDC guidelines, once we do reopen, really it's a two-way benefit. It would protect our office staff from having to speak directly with someone who may or may not be wearing a face
I
covering.
understand that, that's
So-
one of the reasons we have the electronic doors, so they can say who comes in and who doesn't come in.
Well, I'm certain the police don't want to conduct all their business on the sidewalk.
No, they don't.
So if they were
but
able to bring them in, even if they're invited or whoever's invited in or not invited in, the fact of the matter is they could be symptomatic. And the
All right.
glass is there
We
just
have
to be
the, we have
protected.
the election going in June the 2nd. We're going to have the election up there. We don't have any plexiglass separating us, and we are told that they must come in with a mask and gloves on, and somebody is going to be at the door to stop it. Why couldn't that same thing happen at the police station? Since they have an electronic door, they know who's coming in and who isn't coming in.
I think these plexiglass additions are going to be very prevalent for a long time.
I'm just looking at the financial end of it. We're fast running out of money that we have allocated in the budget. These things that are coming up now are not in the budget.
It's true. We may be able to get some assistance as
I was
PPP
just gonna say,
under
I think this
the
is gonna
immigrants.
become the norm after this. We may be able to pursue some money on it. If council would so choose to pursue it now or at a later date, I still think it's
Well, I
best.
know
if
that they're
someone's
supposed
gonna
to
protect them.
reimburse us for any monies that are spent. I understand that, but when?
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Understood.
we're running short on the budget. We're going to be overspent on the budget. And I realize that a budget is just an estimate on what you're going to spend. But I don't know. I just think we're spending money like it's water, and we don't necessarily have that in the budget.
Understood.
Do you want to cancel the order for the police, or are we going to go with it?
I think you're going to have to go with it if it's going to be one of the
Requirements?
requirements, but
Well, that's what
I'm
we're
just
saying.
saying, we have to start watching what we're spending.
We also have to be mindful of the safety of our employees.
I
Yeah,
understand, I
that's
understand,
one
and if they didn't
issue.
have the electronic door, I wouldn't have brought it up. But they do have the door, which gives them quite a bit of, you know.
Protection, but if someone comes and wants to talk to a police officer, like he said, there's some things you cannot discuss on the street and some things you must discuss with them and you cannot turn them away.
I
Say, for instance, if someone came to the door and said, I was just, whatever, touched inappropriately, I need to talk to an officer. You can't do that out on the street. They're going to have to come in and talk to them. I would want that protection for the officers. They buzz them in, they come and they're on two sides of a shield in an area where they can still have their privacy.
I understand that part of it.
That's kind of like where I was
do
going. I think
understand
it's going
it,
to be the norm in the future anyway.
But I do think that we have to start watching what we're spending too. You put me on finance, you guys put me on finance, so you're going to have to listen to it.
No, we're supposed to do it like this.
Terry, can you, I know you continue to look every day at what's coming out. So we've talked about the grant opportunities and the reimbursement. Can you just see if there's anything that applies to PPE? Because this certainly would fall
This
within
would be
that
FEMA and FEMA because this is being mandated.
That was
by
my
the government.
understanding.
Yep, yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do it whether we like it or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the public, and this was based on the administration office because we have more public there than we do in the police station. But in cases where there might be somebody that comes in, we should protect the officers as well if that's the route we're going.
So no matter what we're like financially, we still have to do it,
Yep.
sooner or later.
From what my understanding is, like that doctor would need to go on and that's the recommendation.
You okay with that, Jamie?
Yep.
All right, my next is under public safety. The last executive session we discussed about getting the siren fixed, and Mike was ordered to get it repaired, and the quote come in for the $1,711 plus the batteries.
I'm going to shoot off my mouth again. We're spending, we haven't had that siren for how many years? 3 years, 4 years? It really hasn't been missed, other than maybe a couple of people have said, we still have that siren, does it work anymore, whatever. We don't have this kind of money to keep spending on spending. This is not something that's emergency that we have to have, or is it?
That's just it. However you look at this, there's one of two ways. If you look at it as money well spent, we haven't used it in a long time. We were just shown very quickly how things change, matter of fact. And we found out, just through these meetings or anything else, we have no general alarm for the public. Not one. We don't even have a fire whistle. we're relying on social media and different things to do this. Whenever it was discussed before, of course, we were in the middle of a pandemic when we said it, but it was brought up. We have no general alarm for the public, and that's why we.
And I think we had a discussion a couple of times about, do we want to get it fixed or we don't want to get it
I
fixed?
know, I realize that,
Yeah.
but this is coming on the tail end of the plexiglass and all the other money that we're spending, when that's not something that has to be done immediately. At least I don't feel it does.
Well,
But
like the
that's my opinion.
I don't have a problem with either one way or the other, but all I'm getting at is, it was discussed, and you were on board with it at that time.
I was on board with it until I found out what it cost.
Okay, well, it's gonna come up, the thing I'd say about it is, I like the fact of having a general alarm and letting the public know we have it. People say, it would've been nice when do we still have that alarm whistle? That's where this all first came from, exactly what you said. The
There's
cost of
also
it may be
a
some-
way on cell phones that you can do an alert too.
Right. I have an
Just like
alert on my
Washington County
phone.
does, or when there's an Amber Alert,
Right.
it's able to, and that automatically goes to the phones.
And I think everybody has a cell phone.
Yeah, Washington
Is,
County's
now,
able to do it.
that's free to have that service?
Yeah, Washington County does it.
Right.
Can we do it to all the for all the residents?
Anybody that wants it can get it. They told me about it, I downloaded it on my phone. Didn't cost me a penny.
So this is all coming up now when we're going to take it to vote to fix the whistle.
I don't know what you mean.
What I mean is, we've had numerous meetings and talked about this.
I know, but we didn't know what the price was until just recently. We didn't know what the price was. We didn't know what it was going to cost.
Well, it comes up, I like the thought of having a manual general alarm for the public. But that's just my 2 cents. Whenever it comes up to
That's
vote,
why I
there
said,
it is.
I'm just
No,
voicing
I
my
like it.
opinion.
I like it.
Okay? Just, we'll put it up for a vote, and it goes, what goes, it goes, that's all.
He purchased, I think there's 3 batteries that are required, so I don't have the invoice for that yet. But he went and he already ordered them, so that'll be an additional cost to this, so I'll have the figures by next week.
Any other comments on it? I got a comment about this food pantry they're gonna be distributing food on May the 18th. However, Mary Ann Bandelo was talking to Jimmy Bryce, and Jimmy handed me the phone. And she was telling me that come June the 18th, there will be no food distribution in Donora. That they're consolidating, and everything's gonna go to the Charleroi Chamber of Commerce parking lot. I told her I'll see what I can't do. So I called Diane Irie. Diane Irie put me in touch with a Kim Rogers. Kim Rogers put me on a conference call with a Jeff McAfee and a Connie Bird. They explained their consolidation reasons, and I can understand that. However, I also included Sue from the Salvation Army. Sue was willing to rent a big U-Haul truck, take it over to Washington, get it loaded into the truck directly from Washington, bring it to Donora at the regular site here, and have it distributed as normal. However, Connie told me that when she had conversation with Mary Ann Bandelo, Mary Ann told her that she didn't want it anymore during this pandemic. Let the people get a proxy and let the people go to the Charleroi Chamber of Commerce to get it. I said, well, that's not what she told me. She was complaining to both me and our superintendent that this is what she wanted done. She says, well, if that's what you want done, I can do it, but I wish you'd make up your mind. Mary Ann tells me she don't want it, you're telling me you want it. So she says, if you want to do it that way, rather than bringing a truck all the way to Washington and worrying about the meats and the cheeses and everything going bad by the time you get it to Donora, and Sue interrupted and says, most of it's frozen when you deliver it anyway. So it ended up, Sue was going to take a big truck to Charleroi. They were going to unload that truck, put it in Sue's truck, bring it to Donora, and disperse the food. Called Mary Ann to let her know all the arrangements. She said she didn't want it that way. She's going to tell everybody, get a proxy, and let them go to Charleroi and get it. It took all that work. Now today, Jay was up here at 6th Street, and Nick Sherman happened to be here with the Salvation Army. He jumped on Nick. Nick says, I was under the impression Diane Irie settled all of this. And I overheard it, so I I chimed in and I said, we did, Mary Ann doesn't want it. So we spend like maybe 2-3 hours all total on phones, making phone calls, and a 4-way conversation, and it's back to square one where they're going to Charlotte where they get it. And in case anybody of you hear any repercussions about why we're not getting anything June the 18th, you know the circumstances. So that's that. And that's all I have.
I have a couple of things. The Salvation Army was here today, and they're going to do this weekly, and they asked if there would be 2 more points if they could drop off. I said, of course you can drop off wherever you want, but they had mentioned like 2 more midway points. And they said somewhere up like around Chubbs, which I said, I'll bring it up tonight, and maybe anyone else have a better idea. I said, First Street School lot seems like a good place for them to pass out. They wanted one there and then one down toward 9th or 10th Street. And I talked to Superintendent Bryce, and he even said possibly the lot across from Posey's Chiropractic would be good. And because they just wanted to they said they had people walking up here from 9th Street. They said if we can get another pickup down there and make it 20-minute stops instead of half-hour stops. I said, that sounds great to me. If you guys could think of any other places that would kind of let it be localized for our neighborhoods, that works. Because Cement City would be the Terrace and or First Street. And then you have First Street covers you all the way up to the Waddell, the school. And then you have downtown 2 points right here, and then 10th Street.
But they're not going to quit Highland Terrace or the senior
They're
center?
not quitting, they're adding 2 more.
Okay, so they'll still go to the high rise,
Yeah,
and they'll still go to the terrace.
so it'd be Highland Terrace, First Street, the old school lot, then the gazebo, the towers, Waddell, 10th Street. The only place I could think of is someplace even further down, like we're up on Fayette or around up top there. If there's a good area up there, that would be the only other place. I think that pretty much covers the town for any walker.
Sonny, is there a parking lot by Spanish Club?
And that might be a nightmare for even if someone did want to drive there. That's what, the other places seem kind of open, you know. I couldn't think of anything up there unless like the end of Del Sandro Drive, like that seems like a fairly open area. But we have that one, there's that one housing authority on Fayette, right? Maybe there.
Townhouses up there. That'd be an option. I think there's a turnaround up there.
I think that pretty much covers the points of Donora. Everyone can walk to one of them. But if you guys have any other ideas or you want to change any of those, we'll reach out to Sue and let her know. But as of today, after talking to Jim, we kind of figured those would be the 2 best points. If you guys think of something better that they could make it more easier for our residents, they said they'll accommodate. The other thing was Derek Galiffa contacted me. He's having well, he's not. I guess it's a nationwide thing. DJs are driving around playing music. And he asked about coming into the borough with it. And it's actually going to be whenever, it looks like after tomorrow, if we, it's announced that we can move into yellow. He submitted guidelines on how he would keep up social distancing. There would be no stops. It's by request only. He will not just drive through the town randomly because he said he didn't want to disrupt anybody that did not want to hear music. But if you make a request to him, he would drive past your house. And to be honest, I said, he has all these guidelines in place, and it is, you're doing a drive-by of a house, I can't believe that is. So he had brought that up, and then last but not least, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, all of our local businesses that have been able to be open, the public has been very good to them, all. I know Marty's is doing well, Anthony's is doing okay. Chubb's is actually doing deliveries. I know the Crow Club picked up. Make sure whenever you guys are on the dot and you talk to people, just make them aware that we still have businesses that are providing these services, and thank them, best you can. That was it.
spoke with Tom Salak today, and the EQ tank that they're going to be putting in down at MITA, he wanted to be sure if council wanted a lid on it or not. And I have to let the engineer know, because it wasn't clear at the last meeting when we discussed it, and he was gonna mirror the one that's currently down there now, and it does not have a lid, but he can't guarantee down the road if it will have an odor. And he said, what does council want?
Put a lid on it.
Put a lid on it.
He said that several $100,000s for a lid to be put on. So, he says whatever we want to do. He says if there is no odor down there now, he says, but, he said he can't guarantee that there will not be eventually.
Did they put a lid on the one in Menneson?
There is none in Menneson. He said it's a treatment plant over there, it's different. The one that's currently down there now is down at the sewage plant along the river down there. He said there is not an odor.
And there's no lid on it.
And
How
there's
long
no
has
lid
it
on
been down there?
I'm not sure. He said he's willing to come and talk to you guys, but since we really haven't had normal meetings, he really wasn't able to come to present exactly the specs and specifics about it.
And maybe it'd be best to hear what he has to say, like, I don't know anything about it.
I don't know enough about it to make a
And he
decision.
said as soon as it fills up, it gets emptied, so it's not like stuff is sitting there. So,
Yeah, let's maybe hear it from his mouth.
okay. So we want to hold off until we hear from him. Okay, all righty. You want him to come next week at the meeting to discuss it? Because they're moving along with this.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, all right, I'll have him come next week.
Did you say Menneson, is Menneson covered or?
No, he said that there isn't one over Menneson. I guess I misunderstood him the first time we talked about it. There's one down here at the plant
Yeah,
that they have. It's huge, it's real tall,
And it's open.
and it's open. Yes.
Anything else?
I do have something that, a litigation update on the Dynamo case. I'd like to do it in executive session, but I'd like to just do it here while we're all here, so Mr. Ecavangelo would be,
We were gonna have an executive session on this
okay,
anyway. so-
okay, then we can do, all right, not a problem. Understood.
You wanna do it upstairs, you wanna do it here? You can do it here. You don't want me in the executive session?
Did you say we're having an executive session tonight?
Yes,
Nobody told me.
because we didn't know we were gonna have one until half an hour ago.
Okay.
I need council's direction on Dynamo litigation.
Did you know?
Right.
We're having an executive session.
If you want, we could wait until next week.
Well, we've already had 5 executive sessions, and my understanding from somebody who told me this week, the borough can only have 7 a year. How are we gonna have number 6?
Half an hour ago when Steve comes up to the building.
I mean, I don't think it's wrong, I think we need to have one, but
Well, I'm just saying, you're.
This does
you're lying.
involve-
I didn't know that we were gonna have one.
This involves some legal strategy, and I just want to make sure we discuss it.
Hold on.
Well, am I correct in saying that the borough can only have 7 executive sessions per year?
I think Gary, didn't you
According
think?
to Sunshine Act, it's 7 a year.
How can that
So we've already had 5, and now you're gonna have number 6. We have a half a year to go yet.
Now, wait a minute.
Exactly.
If the borough's in litigation,
Exactly.
if the borough's in litigation, we've already had like 3 or 4 for that. And there's gonna be more.
It's the litigation, not getting into all the specifics because of the public's involvement. It's starting to increase where we have potential rights and interests that we have to make sure that we're properly covered. I would like the direction from the whole of council while we're together on how they'd like to proceed. If not, I can just discuss it with the most relevant committee.
I mean, we're only permitted to have 7 executive sessions a year.
And it's part of the Sunshine Act?
Yes, I have the documentation upstairs.
You have it in, right?
Your opinion?
If council would rather defer for a rainy day for some reason or another, I can just
I
discuss
would
it.
like to find out if that is true.
I could just discuss it with the relevant committee That's part of the issue, is that we don't have a necessarily responsive committee to deal with MIDA and railroad-related issues.
They've made so many changes in everything because of what's going on. Could that be one of the changes?
No.
No, that's not an emergency.
Okay.
We could have an emergency meeting, but it would only be related to COVID.
Gotcha.
If council would prefer, I would like direction on the issue. So if that's just talking with the president, I'm just talking with the president about it.
And what are we gonna do? Are we gonna go up for an executive session, or we are not?
I'm looking at the Sunshine Act right now. It says an agency may discuss certain matters in executive session which is not held in public. Section 708 of the Sunshine Act enumerates 7 reasons to have it. Was there a misinterpretation of that? 7 reasons an agency may hold an executive session. And it lists the 7. The specific reason for an executive session must be announced in a public meeting, either before or directly after the executive session. Closed gathering may also be held solely for the purpose of collecting information. I don't... Is there something...
What kind of documentation do you have? And it says you're not permitted to have it, and there's 7 reasons.
7, you want 7 executive sessions before you get
Can you get it?
It's upstairs.
So we know what we're gonna do?
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Well, if we can get the Sunshine Act, get that cleared up now. This is something that needs to be cleared up.
Can you get it over here?
Because if we've already had 5, but we're only allowed 7, I can't imagine that, because even in the borough instances, if we wanted to hire 4 new police officers over a 4-month span, we would exhume 4 of these. What if we had whatever, that we had to have an executive session? This litigation alone, we've had more than 7 meetings because of it.
I don't think the rules.
No, it's not, I'm not attacking you.
Yeah.
I want to know if that is true, because the hearsay of everything ends. Mr. Solicitor, can we make that happen?
Look at it, please.
Yeah, I'll go upstairs.
We'll wait till Terry comes back.
Are we going to adjourn this meeting?
No, we're gonna wait till you come back. He's got the same name.
What's that?
He has the same name.
Are you reading the same thing I am?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering if that wasn't misconstrued, or maybe even on the slideshow she has, if it was misworded, because it says 7 reasons an agency can hold it.
Well, let me, while we're here, let me try to do this in a way that would not disclose any, well, I think I can do this in a way that wouldn't disclose any sensitive litigation. You want me to wait on you?
What's that, Sonny? I'm sorry, Councilman Lawson.
Read on the 7 reasons.
What's it say?
This is something different. This is something different.
What's the 7 reasons there?
7 reasons. Hold on, let me get back to it. Closed meeting. 1, discussing personnel matters, holding an information strategy and negotiation session related to a negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement, considering the purchase of lease of real property, consulting with an attorney about an active or pending type of litigation, discussing agency business, which if conducted in public would violate lawful privilege, discussing certain academic matters, higher education, and discussing certain public safety issues if disclosed of the information discussed would reasonably likely to jeopardize or threaten public safety or preparedness of public protection. Those are your 7 reasons. But It then goes on to say, a closed gathering can also be held solely for the purpose of collecting information or educating agency members about an issue, period.
That's the catch-all provision.
Yeah, that does seem like quite a catch-all. And it calls out,
The same length, seven.
Well,
He says
there's
it's
7
seven, is that
reasons.
10?
While we work through this issue, what I will state is, the mediation is going to be scheduled either the last week of June or the 1st of July between all the parties in the Dynamo litigation. I was on a pretty lengthy conference call on Friday. It resulted in some motions being filed today by the various parties. They were filed at 4 o'clock. It's fine. What I'm looking for is a direction. Senior retired Superior Court Judge, Judge Del Sol, is going to preside over this mediation opportunity. The borough's interests, we've discussed. I don't need to lay those out here, but I would like to know if I can have a designee from council available for this mediation session. It's not likely to be held in person because of the COVID restrictions. It may be a Zoom-type meeting or a telephonic meeting. But I would like a council member with some knowledge about the issues at MITA, issues of our track maintenance available. I was also going to ask that Mike Petrosky be available too. Cindy, I know you have some familiarity with these issues.
I don't have anything problem, I'm saying, you have to have somebody who's knowledgeable about it. We wouldn't be able, I wouldn't be able to tell you what we did on the track and what we maintained and what we did.
That's why I'd like to have
You
Mr.
would
Petrosky
like,
available.
right.
But I would like, the judge was pretty clear with me that he would like, it's kind of sweeping terms. He wants all parties with interest and knowledge to be present. I thought perhaps, unless not selected if council's wish, I thought perhaps Councilman McDowell would be appropriate. I know he's attended a few of the meetings. He's familiar with railroad issues.
Right.
Mrs. Bryce, I know you've attended all of the Dynamo meetings. The problem was is that the prior members of council who were involved are no longer seated. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm complying with the judge's request to have somebody available.
Well, I can do it for you, but I would like to have Mike with me so he can advise, lead me and let me know what. That
Sure.
would be okay. And we can just do it at the office, Terry, can't we?
Yes,
What's that?
Can we just, Mike and I just do it at the office?
yes.
Okay, there.
Yeah, they were talking about doing it at the one law firm's office in Pittsburgh, but
Mhm.
I think they're still going to be closed. And the judge would really like to see movement on this. So
Can you take
I'll
all
talk.
three of them, him, Mike McDowell, and Mike Petrosky? Cindy, Mike, and Mike?
If Mike's available, Mrs. Bryce knows all the issues too, so if she's willing to do it, we could ask, Mr. McDowell if he's interested, but I think Mrs. Bryce can handle it.
So give me your opinion on the executive session, so we know how to do it.
We'll get back to that one. But for now, I think that's all I need to know on my issue.
Give me your opinion on that issue. so we
I
know.
want to see what guidance she
She
has.
hasn't.
I have to go, I can't go on the site right now, to
Well-
print the rest of my documentation on it. So I have this, but it's not specific.
Come back to it. I'd like to see what she has.
what is it?
I had training, and it's through, it was a Zoom, and I had training, and I have to go up and print it. I couldn't get on the site to print all the details from the slideshow. I have my standard one, but I can't get on right now to print everything. So I have to put a code in. I'll get everything tomorrow. I have another session next Wednesday for training, and I will definitely get everything printed out. I just wasn't able to. So,
So then this meeting is adjourned. Anybody else got something to bring up before I adjourn it, or no? Meeting's adjourned.